The number one reason all of y'all need to make friends with somebody at your bank or financial institution is, at the end of the day, you're going to want to borrow money.
So here's the real mystery. How do regular folks like you and me, who have families and real lives, who have careers and regular 9-to-5s, really fare in the personal finance game? Why are some hugely successful while others fail miserably time and time again? Those are the glaring questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios.
All right, and welcome to another episode of EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios. My name is Charles McGill. So excited to be talking to you guys today. Before we get started, got to make sure the credit boss, aka credit coach, is in the building. Miss Eva Palacios, you in the house?
Yes, what's up?
Hey, we got the late night edition of the podcast tonight.
I know. Yeah, it almost didn't happen.
It almost didn't happen. That's right. We have rescheduled a couple times. We're trying to figure it out because you are traveling.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that we get this thing in.
I know. I got to seriously look at my weeks and my months ahead of time so we can plan everything out.
Yes. Because things are moving and shaking. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate my family kind of bearing with us. So we don't got a lot of time. We can't spend a lot of time today because it's already dinner time and we got to get rolling. But yeah, how's your week been?
Good. Busy. Love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Same here.
Super busy, which is good. I've been getting myself together, more organized. I got an assistant that's been helping me. So that's been great.
There you go. Oh my gosh. And it's so funny because we had the conversation where Eva, I think you need an assistant. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't need an assistant yet.
Yeah, no, you do. You do.
I have issues.
I know.
I have control issues.
I know, but one day we're gonna go ahead and we'll get that. We'll get an assistant for you.
But it has been in the back of my mind. At least it's been in the back of my mind to where I'm entertaining the idea.
Yeah.
And
that's usually your process. I've noticed that since working with you. I'll say something and you'll tell me no immediately. And I just have to kind of wait a week or two and you'll start stewing on it. And you'll come back and we'll talk about it more. And then eventually.
And then it happens.
But it's cool. I like that because, the process is, you'll ask some good questions and, kind of forces it to the idea to get flushed out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So, but yeah, you do need one. I'm just telling you right now.
And then I'm thinking, okay, I definitely need somebody that has the superpowers that I don't have to make sure stuff gets done.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about it more. We'll talk about it more. And then, once we put it in the universe or put it on the podcast.
Yes.
Then things possibly can start to happen. So,
and it is isn't that, I don't know. Well, we had our first Lions call for the month. And just hearing all of the different wins and the different successes that people are having, I'm like, guys, are you not feeling this energy? We're doing things that we don't normally do. Talk about money, talk about finances, take certain steps in different directions, and just money is coming. Money is coming, whether it's in a form of a dollar bill or a form of an asset or a form of a person that's going to help you get to that next level. That energy.
It's dope. No, definitely money has been flowing. There's tons of money. I keep telling myself, I keep reminding myself that there's tons of money out there. Money is not scarce.
Yep.
It's an abundance. And and I think once you start, opening up your mind to it and putting it out there, you really can start to see some changes. It almost sounds funny because, it almost sounds mystical and make believe, all you have to do is believe in the money. But
it's true. The morning affirmations, the vision boards, the, repeat, eat, sleep, drink the idea. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've had a money goal for myself, like earning for like the household for a while, and for a while we weren't getting close at all. And it was like a goal that, you know, scary. You know, when I first put it down, me and my wife were like, "What? Like, are you kidding me?
You out your mind.
We'll never have that kind of." But man, we've been knocking at the door, and I've been like, "Wow, this is crazy." And I think really the reason why is because I put it out there, and then, you know, my mind and the decisions I'm making are, you know, like, it's like when your goal is just to, you know, like, say if you're working out or whatever, and your goal is just to, you know, I don't know, do 10 push-ups, something, you know, that may be challenging for some or maybe not for others, but just say it is what it is. But let's say you actually, in your body, you can actually do 50, right? You could actually do 50, but your goal is 10. You're just going to strive for that 10 and that's it. But you're selling yourself short. You don't even know it. And so sometimes what you got to do is say, I want to do 100.
Yes.
Right. And that sounds crazy, but then you mess around and do 50 or 60 and you're like, whoa.
I thought I could only do 10.
I thought I could do 10. So that's kind of like what I've been doing. I've been stretching myself that way. Like, you know what? Let's go for, you know, this crazy kind of number or these crazy goals, and let's see what happens. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is. It's dope.
Yeah. So let's get into our podcast today. We have a pretty cool topic to talk about today, which I'll be honest with you, had not really thought about too much until recently, just because of the different things I've been exposed to. I was just telling you, you know, now that I'm an entrepreneur with 2 businesses and, you know, partnering with you, and just, you know, there's so much other stuff that I have going on. I have all these clients I'm helping out. I find myself like, you know, with more, you know, like basically interacting with the bank more than I've ever really had to. And I actually just recently too, I mean, this is kind of a sidebar, but just so you know, I had another, like when we went to go stay at the hotel recently, you know, for our business trip, the hotel charged me twice. Now, normally I wouldn't notice this because we, you know, we're doing okay. And normally when the account is on the fuller side, if you will, I pay less attention to what's being spent because I'm just like, hey, we got it. It's cool. Yeah. But because of this new mindset, I'm paying attention to everything. I'm right. Sure everything. Like, no. Let's see. I don't care if it's $2. Like, where that $2 come from? And so I noticed. I was like, hold on, they double charged us. That's like, hold on. And the thing, it didn't affect the overall, like, you know, amount of money I had, but still, I noticed it, and I ended up, you know, calling them, and they fixed it. But it was just, you know, it's cool to just even be like, you know, just to have that kind of like confidence to reaction. Be like, you know what? Yeah. Like, yeah. And also you need to get my money back. Like, nah, we're not playing around. Fighting. Like, that's right. You don't give me my money back. But with that said, you know, I noticed I've been calling the bank more and just doing more different things. And I noticed now that we have like more accounts than I've ever had. And I never really thought about how important it is to have a relationship with your bank.
Yes.
Never thought about that. Yes. But it's been coming up. Like, you know, shout out to you. You've exposed me to certain people, you know, and I'm getting, like, I actually just got a message from, you know, someone that works at a bank, you know, telling me about something I need to do. And I used to never get messages from anybody from the bank. I'm like,
and a good message, not like
a good message. Yeah, no, it's like
message.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, you need to go ahead and do this thing so we can give you some money. What? Like,
they're helping you get money?
Helping me get money. Dang, this is crazy.
You see what I'm telling you?
Yeah, well, thank you. But let's talk about that, because I don't know that folks really understand what this is about. Because once again, even shout out to, you know, one of our lions. Is it Purcell that was the testimony?
Purcell. Yes.
Purcell. About how he's just getting all this free money, right, from the banks.
They're like,
anyway, let me stop talking.
They gave me money. I got money over here. I got money. I didn't even know I was getting money, you know?
Exactly. Yes. So Eva, talk to us. First of all, walk us through, number one, why is it important to have a relationship with your bank?
Oh, the number one reason all of y'all need to make friends with somebody at your bank or financial institution is, at the end of the day, you're going to want to borrow money. Whether it's for a home loan, an auto loan, a credit card, a personal loan, whatever. When you build these relationships with your financial institutions, which basically means, can we get on a first name basis? Can I show up? I don't know. Maybe they treat you right. You drop them a box of donuts. Just build a relationship, because at the end of the day, they're going to be offering you probably more services or products that can help you get to your next financial level. And furthermore, know that every financial institution is different. Different financial institutions have different cultures. Their customer service levels are different. But I'm going to be honest. I've got 5 credit unions and 2 banks.
What?
Yes. I have accounts everywhere. Don't mean that there's money in them, but I have accounts everywhere.
So that's 7 relationships, basically.
7 relationships. Absolutely.
Okay. So that's what I was going to ask. So the next question is, okay, so what do you think is a good mix in terms of national banks, local banks, credit unions? What's a good mix? And then also, if you could, try to give people a breakdown of the difference between the two. Like, why is it important? Like you were telling me, I have Bank of America. That was the only thing I used to just ride with them. That's the only thing I had, right? Mm-hmm. But you've told me, open up a Bank of the West account, open up a Chase account, open up a Navy credit union, and I'm like, well, why do I need to do all this? So, are you,
5 credit unions. Did I say 5 credit unions? Yeah, 5 credit unions. Okay, yeah. Because I was like, okay, Navy in there? Yes.
Yeah. So tell us why. Like, what's a good mix, and tell us what they are. What's a good mix, and what do you recommend in terms of how people get started?
Well, first and foremost, so for me, I've got 5 credit unions, 2 banks. Why so many? Why like that? Well, first off, credit unions offer a lot better services, lower rates when you're borrowing. They actually, because they are a member-based service, what this basically means is the reason the credit union exists is because regular people like you and I make deposits and the credit union is created. So it's funded by the people. It's funded by the members. Because it's funded by us, in essence, their interest rates are really low. A lot of them offer free accounts, meaning they don't charge you a monthly service as long as you have a minimum of like $5 or up between $5 and $25 sitting in a savings account.
Wow.
As long as it's there, you're not getting charged those monthly service fees like the other guys do. Now, another reason I have so many is because, like I said, every financial institution does something different. Credit Union A may have their auto loans at their cheapest auto loan at a 4.9, where Credit Union B might have it at a 2.9. Why Credit Union C might give it at a 1.9. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you only have access to those rates if you are a member. So one of the things I coach my students on is if they don't have any credit unions, let's Google search credit union near me and let's see who does what. What kind of rates do they offer? What kind of other services do they offer? Like lending, do they do mortgages? Do they do auto loans? Do they do the recreational vehicles? Do they offer, custodial accounts, the accounts for the children? Some credit unions offer financial literacy programs and workshops. So you want to, when choosing a credit union or any financial institution for that matter, that's what I look for. I look to see, okay, great, you can hold my money, but how much are you going to pay me in interest for holding the money? And interest rates right now are low, so that's a little bit of a factor. But what type of rates do you offer? Should I need to borrow money, I know I'm in a good place.
Okay, so that's a credit union. So give me, national bank, local bank. What's the difference?
Yes. I always recommend people to have 2 bank accounts, a local bank account and a national bank account. Nationwide, meaning I can be in California and this same bank name is also in the other states. Nationwide banks, so that when you travel out of state, you have easy access to your money. Also, most importantly, when you travel internationally, you're with a nationwide bank, their banking hours or customer service hours are generally really, really long or 24/7. So if you lose your debit card while on vacation, or your account's compromised while on vacation, you can nip it in the bud because you know you're going to get a customer service rep that usually is 24 hours a day. Your local bank, their hours are limited. But the main difference with the local bank, you may actually feel like you're treated like on a name basis, first name basis, because since they're smaller, they're local, they really believe in, okay, let's get to know our customers and let's build relationships with them. Versus you're dealing with the national level, they pretty much just look at you as a number. But you want to have both options.
Yeah, and I could tell you I've had that experience. As I've opened up my business banking account with the national bank from our preschool, and I can tell you when I dealt with the business banker there, first of all, they had a quote unquote business banking specialist, but it didn't seem like they were really a specialist. They didn't really and I talked to at least 4 or 5 of them in different locations, and none of them seemed like they really knew what they were doing at this national bank. And because they told me they really don't really deal with a lot of businesses, and they just were, basically looking up articles to answer my questions, but didn't know anything offhand. And also just, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like, I felt like a number. I mean, I'm a business owner.
Important. You're not a priority. You're a business owner and you're not even a priority.
Yeah, exactly. And then I remember kind of commenting about that. And, they try to sum me, basically well, we have different levels of accounts, and, basically telling me my money was too small, for them to be messing with me. Cause I guess if I had a certain level of revenue or amount in the bank, that I would be dealing with an actual business banker.
Right.
So I was like, well, okay, whatever. But at the same time, y'all the ones that said, y'all that have this account at this level, it ain't my fault that, my business hasn't grown that big yet. I shouldn't get less service. Right. Whereas with this local bank, same kind of account, I feel, very much different. The experience is very different. And, feeling a lot more like they're interested in me. Like I said, I just got
they care.
Message. Yeah. I just got a message hey, Charles, make sure you get this done. I mean, that's super cool, so yeah, I could attest to that. Okay. So you kind of define the credit union. Is there a specific definition that makes a bank versus a credit union? I know the credit union is for the people. So bank is just what, for profit? Is that just ran by? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to, think about it. Think about it for all of the people that are out there that have ever gotten non-sufficient fund fees, late fees, overdraft fees, whatever. How many times have you called your bank to get them to waive those fees? And did they waive them nicely?
No, you got to pull teeth.
Yeah, you got to pull teeth, and they may only do it once a year.
Yeah, they clock it too. They be like, actually, you asked for this. The last time was July 1st, 2018. You only get it every 4 years, so no.
Right, right. So at the end of the day, for me, it's always I've learned that it's always about the experience, and whoever treats you the best or whoever you feel, more comfortable with or service level is high, that's probably who you're going to rock with. But at the end of the day, we always should work with the mindset of needing options, having options, because granted, your level of service is excellent at, institution number one, but if their rate on their auto loan is higher than somebody else's, you can still keep your banking with that bank. You would just choose your auto loan at a different financial institution to get the better rate.
Yeah. And so two things there. So, one thing is like, so when you're saying all these different banks and you say you don't really have money in all of them, so it sounds like you don't necessarily have to have like, you don't got to be doing a whole bunch of transactions with each one of them. It sounds like you just have to have an account open.
Well, and this is where you always want to double check.
Okay.
Remember how I said I got 5 credit unions, 2 banks. Credit unions generally offer free accounts as long as there's a minimum required deposit in the savings, which is usually between $5 and $25. So if I just have this credit union with $25 in savings and that's it, and it holds my relationship there because they may offer the better rate, then it's going to hold my position there. I don't get no nasty phone calls talking about, hey, Eva, how come you're not putting more money? How come you're not doing this? How come you never do that? I've had these accounts for years. From the job that I was at, set for 17 years, I still got that credit union in the Bay Area. Actually, when I started with that company, it was with one credit union. When I left, in the middle of it, it switched to another credit union. So I have those 2 credit unions. And then my hubby, he works in San Jose. We in that credit union. We're a local credit union here in Stockton. Then we just got Navy Federal Credit Union. So at the end of the day, as long as you have your minimums there, it basically holds that relationship. Now, granted, I'm not really talking to anybody and walking in and saying hi, but when it comes to lending, they're going to look to see how long have you had that account open for? And has there ever been any problems with that account? And if the answer is it's been open for X amount of years, no problems, let's go ahead and lend to them.
Yeah. So it sounds like the advantage is, obviously at some point you're saying, you're going to likely need to borrow some money for something, either a car, a home, a refinance, whatever it is. And you want to have those relationships established.
Hey, quick break here. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get you right back to it. We just want to spend a few seconds to talk about the EmpowerYou financial group on Facebook. This is Eva's private Facebook group where she gives free tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your financial situation. Join the over 1,000 plus member community and see the success stories of people just like you who want to live life on their own terms. Come laugh with us, tell your story, and share your victories. Just search EmpowerYou Financial in Facebook and join our free private group. Oh, and be sure to invite a friend.
Let's go ahead and continue to make it really practical for people and talk about, just like some real things. I'll say, I know for one example for me, when I was trying to get my PPP loan, when I first started, I was like, okay, first round, I'm looking at the requirements. I'm like, okay, I could definitely qualify. This is cool. So I go to, everyone's like, and they decide, to do it through the banks, right? You had to go apply through your bank. So I'm looking at the only bank I had at the time was Bank of America. So with Bank of America, they're like, yeah, we're doing it, but not now. You got to wait. And they're doing the local banks first. So I went and ran over to a local bank and they're like, yeah, we're doing it, but you don't have an account with us. So can I get one right now? They're like, yeah, but you would have had it for a certain amount of time. So we ain't, so now I'm like, oh, man.
If you would have had your 5 accounts 50 years ago, we'd be good.
Exactly. Right. So that's like a real situation. I wanted to, share it. So eventually, just so you guys know, I had to wait a while and I tried several national banks and had no luck. I had to go the local bank route. And eventually, thankfully, I found one that would rock with me, even though I didn't have an account with them. They were cool, but it took a long time. And I was just like, man, I should have listened to Eva when she told me months ago to get multiple accounts. So that's one. And so can you share a story about, some real life, how having a relationship with your bank has helped you? I think you have a recent example.
Yeah, I got a couple recent examples. So here's a perfect example. We're really talking about the personal banking. But there's a whole nother level when it comes to business banking. So let's kind of shift and let's talk about that, because that is where I'm like, game over. Experience is yes. So I had, from the Bay Area, moved here in 2004. When we moved here in 2004, guess what? My credit union was in the Bay Area. I had to find somebody out here. there wasn't really a credit union that really stuck out. So I chose a bank. I chose Chase. And so since '04, I've been banking with Chase. Okay, that's great. They get my direct deposits from work. Perfect account history, all of that good stuff. Okay. So then it came time to open up a business bank account. And I remembered, okay. And key factor number one, if you're ever thinking about doing a business bank account, you want to make sure that when you're choosing a bank, that it offers both personal and business. Because been rocking with Chase since 2004. When it came to opening my business bank account, it was seamless. I hear people all the time like having issues opening up bank accounts, and I'm like, business bank accounts? I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? Like, I was in and out in like less than 20 minutes. So great experience. I'm like, oh, this is easy, but it also has to do with how your company's structured and all of that. That's a whole nother different podcast. But long story short, because I had an existing relationship with them and my account history was phenomenal, they didn't question whether or not I was a legit business owner, or they didn't question like, okay, where's this money coming from? Which when you open a business bank account, sometimes people ask a lot of questions that it's like, am I being interrogated right now? Yeah, they want to ask questions to make sure you're a legit company. Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, okay, great. I got my, my Chase account. Perfect. That's awesome. Then I go to my local bank, Bank of the West. And that phenomenal experience, shout out Satha, takes care of me and just makes my life just easy. And the crazy part was when I was looking and considering a business bank account, I put on Facebook, I'm like, who can help me open up a business bank account? Where are my business bankers at? And then people were tagging and Satha's name kept coming up. And I'm like, who is this guy? Yeah, I need to meet him.
I gotta give a quick shout out because I was saying who was texting me and I wasn't saying his name, but it's Satha. So shout out to Satha. Yes, Thank you for
Yes. So I saw his name tagged and I saw other people's names tagged. So I click on everybody's name and I message everybody. Satha was the only one, bam, wrote me back like instantly. And I'm like, all right, like, let's go. Like, how do I do this? He was like, okay, well, tell me what your business is. No, he said, give me a call tomorrow morning and let's talk. I gave him all my information over the phone. He's like, okay, all I need is about 10 minutes of your time. Come in, sign some docs. You'll be ready to go. And I'm like, what in the world? Okay, like, let's do it. This is how he operates. From the moment that I put the Facebook post and however many people tagged him, the fact that I messaged everybody and he wrote back right away and he handled me from A to Z perfectly. I'm like, this is dope. This is dope. So fast forward time. Now I have both of my accounts open for about a year or so, year and a half. Well, a little bit, a year and a half. Long story short, when I opened my account with Satha, they automatically gave me a 5,000 limit credit card for my business. I had just opened the account with them. They don't know who the heck I am. Been with Chase since 2004 on personal, opened up my business bank account a year and a half ago. They didn't even offer me a credit card. And back then I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, open up my business bank account. Like, we just do that later. But now as I'm replaying the moments, I'm like, So then I'm like, okay, well, Chase offers a credit card, the Chase Inc. cash card. Like, let's go apply for that. Boom. They gave it to me, $5,000. Okay. That's cool. But man, like, I don't know. We got businesses to run. So 5,000 goes away real quick. Like, we're not even 10 days in the month and it's gone. So I'm like, what am I going to do with $5,000? Like, I need more. Started building business credit. But long story short, guys, when you build relationships with your financial institutions, generally speaking, they will take care of you. But you also got to, build back, but most importantly, assess the whole situation. Majority of all of our business money is going to Chase. I would think Chase be like, you got all of this activity, deposits, withdrawals, big deposits, low deposits. Like you have all this activity. I would just think I'm worthy of the more than $5,000 limit. I guess not. So then I threw it in the universe. I said, you know what, Chase, if you don't get your stuff together, I'm going to switch all of my stuff to Bank of the West because they already loving on me from the get-go. And then, next level, smaller banks, local banks, I hear they have generational monies. Grandma's in, grandkids, great grandkids. And because they're family oriented, it's generations, they build relationships with their people. And when they build these relationships, guess what? Then you get phone calls. Hey, Eva, don't forget that 5,000 limit. That's a cashback rewards program. So if you spend $3,000 in 90 days or whatever the terms were, you're going to earn $550 cash back. I'm like, what? Not only did I not get the credit card right away with Chase, but I got it with Bank of the West with instructions on how I can make more money by using their services. I'm like, let's go. This is how we need to be operating with intent. And who's going to hold my money? And what are you going to do for me?
Yeah. Well, also too, I remember back in the day, when I first started my account with Bank of America. Mm-hmm. Now here's the thing, here's real, real life. Most of the time when you start an account with a new institution, it's because you have a need, right?
Yeah.
So at the time I had this, check that I was trying to, deposit because I needed the money. So I went to the bank and I didn't have a relationship with them. I think at the time I had a Golden One account, credit union, because my that's where my mom used to bank. Yeah. So I was young. And I went to, start an account. I started with the check. And they were like, yeah, okay, cool. This is cool. We don't know you though. And this is the language they use. This was the language they used. And I remember it was weird to me, but they were like, since we don't know you, we don't have a relationship with you, we're going to go ahead and hold this, we'll take the check. And this is the thing. They didn't tell me this up front. They already took it and deposited.
I know.
That money's not going to be available for about 10 days.
Your buddy's hostage.
I said, what? 10 what? Nah, man. Nah. I gotta have it sooner than that. They like, nah, it don't work that way. It's gonna be on hold for 10 days. I'm like, for what? They're like, we gotta make sure it clears. I'm like, it clears? I was like, it's from where was I working at? Maybe Intel or something like that. I'm like, it's from Intel. What do you think? Think they got no money? Because I'm talking like a regular, I don't know anything, right? I'm young. I'm like, you think they don't got no money? They're like, it's not about that. It's just, that's our policy. I was like, man, bump that. Give me my check back. I was like, you tripping. They're like, no, sir, we can't do that. Which means you can't do that.
They just repoed your check.
I just handed it to you. You hand it back. It's that simple. They're like, nah, actually, we can't do that. And then I had to, kind of remember, I'm a young black man, and I'm like, dang, I can't really wow out like I want to because, I don't want some other stuff to happen. So I'm like, yo, I had to just be like, listen, you can't hold my money for that long. I need this money. And I can't remember what it was for, but I knew I needed it because at the time I think I was already had kids and everything. So I was like, I need this money. And they're like, there is nothing we can do. You have to wait 10 days. And I'm like, for what? What is 10 days going to do? Yeah. You know what I mean? It don't take that long to know the money. You can make a phone call. You can call them right now and see if the money's good. They're like, nope. So anyway, long story short, I had to wait 10 days. And then that got me super weary of the bank because I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to deposit checks. But I noticed that after, over time, it got to a place where, anytime I deposit a check, it's cleared. Well, no, now it's cleared, but only to a certain amount, right? I'm cleared up to, I don't even know this stuff, but I only find out when I push the envelope. You know what I mean? If I get a really large check, that's when I find out that my limit is whatever, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or, your ATM limit, sometimes you try to make a big withdrawal, you can only actually withdraw this amount. There's all these rules that you're just not aware of. Yep. And so what I'm learning with you though, is that there's all these rules and there's all these things. And I'm thinking as a consumer, I'm just victim to it. Like whatever they want to do, they just do. Yeah. And I just kind of got to play the game. But I noticed also too, that when I was a principal and my salary was a certain way and my credit was a certain way, I got treated differently sometimes. You know what I mean? And so it kind of started feeling like, okay, so maybe this ain't all just always this way. And now I'm dealing with, being in front of yours. I'm like, oh no, there's no rules really. Like it's really about who you are. Talk to us, because you just recently had a situation where you got a fat check. Now we ain't gonna say about, how much and all that, but you got a pretty fat check. Tell us about that experience.
Okay. So, I love this. So, okay. So, last week we talked about us, selling our flip in Chicago. We had the proceeds check because they missed the instructions on to just wire the money. But I'm kind of glad now looking at it that I'm glad they didn't wire it, because I wouldn't have had this experience. So I've had this check. And we can't mobile deposit the check because it's too large.
So you can't take a picture of it? There's a limit. They're like, nah, you're going to have to bring that in. I put
it in there and they're like, no, it exceeds the limit of deposits. And I'm like,
have to see that check.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm like, dang. Okay. So now I got to figure out in my schedule where and how I'm going to fit this in to go to the bank. So, I go to the bank and, I'm in line and I'm get to the teller and I'm like, okay, I want to deposit the check. And I give her my bank card and my ID. And she's like, okay, hold on. I got to call the manager. So then they go call the manager because it's a large check. And this was like at 11 in the morning. So I'm like, can't you just call the other financial institution and be like, is this real? I don't know. They got rules. They've got rules. So long story short, she's like, okay, based on your account status, the available funds will be $5,000, and the rest, which is a whole lot
a whole lot more than 5,000,
definitely, will be on hold for 7 days. And I'm like, 7 days? Like, what if I need to go buy a property tomorrow? Like, I am SOL'd. And
hold on. Now, time out. Now, I just want y'all to notice the kind of problems that Eva has. She said, what if I got to go buy a house tomorrow? One day, guys. One day. Okay, no, continue with your story. Go on with your story. Go ahead.
Eva problems.
Yes.
So I'm like, 7 days. And I'm like, why is that? I mean, it's paid to my business. Granted, this is my local bank. This is Bank of the West. This is not Chase. So they don't see all my activity of deposits, withdrawals, and all that good stuff. So they're like, yeah, based on our relationship, it was nice. She was nice about it. Based on our relationship, we had to hold it for 7 days. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't need it. Whatever. I'm just like, get me out of here. I got stuff to do. So I left. And what do? I messaged Satha. I was like, Satha, why'd your bank put a hold on my check for 7 days? I got stuff to do. Now Satha's like, why didn't you come see me? I was like, but you were busy with the customer. I don't care. We got you. I will lift the hold first thing in the morning. We got you. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, when you wake up tomorrow morning, all of your funds will be available. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. But it's because of the relationship. It's because of posture. It's because of how you carry yourself, how you manage your accounts. He knows I'm very active in the community. We're helping a lot of people. Like we branded ourselves well.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, I'm not going to say what he said because that's actually privy to the Lions Club, but he was like, you'll always be taken care of at this bank. And I'm like, yes, let's go. What can we buy?
Let's go. Yeah, I love it.
What are we talking? Like that's an unlimited line of credit? Or is that what we're talking about?
Let's see.
But see, this is why it's so important. It is so important, to serve. It is super important to do good when it comes to your financial institutions. Now, yeah, you got to be very intentional with who you choose to do business with and be wise, because you won't get this type of experience everywhere. Yeah. So ask for the referrals. Don't be shy. If you need to open up a bank account, somebody please tag your personal banker, tag your business banker. My favorite is when I get those offers in the mail that says, if you open your account with us, we'll pay you $350. That's free money.
Yeah, and honestly, I've seen so many of those. I never went for them, but I know a few people who have, like you do, and other people in the Lions Club, and they can get free money. I'm like, all this time? Yes. Man, I could have been getting, because I remember seeing some. You know what? My cousin he does it, so I gotta say I know one person. But he used to find it every couple of months. He would find some offer, give you $500, $600 if you do XYZ, and he would go do it. And
go online. You can Google, what is it? Like new bank account bonus. Google new bank account bonus. See all the banks that pop up. Definitely read the fine print. Usually when you get a bonus, what this means is you need to be sure you have direct deposit into that account within like 30 to 45 or 60 days or something like that. So at the end of the day, if they're going to give you a bonus, make sure you read the fine print and you follow all of those instructions. And yeah, banks are paying people to do banking with them. Now, yes, I've got free money with Chase. I've got free money with other credit unions, Navy Federal. For all of those Navy Federal, credit union holders right now, they're offering $25 for your children's bank accounts, which I'm kind of glad I kind of procrastinated on giving the boys their bank accounts, because now we can collect $25 on all of them.
There it is. And I know some people are like, $25, it ain't nothing. But what I want you guys to understand about that, like, because trust me, I was definitely on that. It adds up. It adds up over time. And the thing is, like, I'm telling you, man, ever since I've been starting to really just be like, hey, no, I'm watching every penny. Yep. I noticed I got more pennies. Yes. Like now that I'm really mining and if, like I got more stuff. I got, and it's just a good feeling, especially when you also have clarity around how your money's being spent. So like, I haven't, like recently I paid all my bills out and I know what's in my account. I know what's coming, whatever I have to prepare for. And I'm not sitting there thinking like, where did my money go? I don't have that. I know where it went, exactly where it went, all of it. And right, matter of fact, my wife just before we got on the podcast asked me, because she has a family member that needs something. So she's like, hey, can we? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We got it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
with
cool.
confidence.
With confidence. And it wasn't like, and the thing is, and I mean by we got it, it's not like we have like such an excess. It's just that I have categorized where my money is. And I know that for incidentals, I have a certain amount in there where that amount's not going to impact us. Like, and it's not going to pay anything else. It's not like nothing's going to not happen because of that. And it's a good feeling to have, but it's because I'm being so intentional. And so, another part of this, which I think is really great, and I thank you for bringing this up for the podcast, is to be intentional about the relationships you have with your bank. I think a lot of people don't even think about that. No, they don't even think about that. Okay, so let's once again, let's go back to that and give some people some practical steps. Like, how can they start to build a relationship with their bank? And once again, kind of reiterate what you recommend in terms of, someone who's just starting out and trying to build themselves up personally, and then, eventually business. What do you recommend and how do you start those relationships?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to tell you what I do and how I do it. So first step, research some banks that are offering you incentives. When you open up the bank account, they're going to pay you to open up the bank account. Some banks will give you a $200 bonus, a $350 bonus. I've seen as high as a $450 bonus. So I would start there because I'm like, that's free money. If you meet those criteria in order to get the free money, that's free money. That could be a car payment. That could be towards groceries. That could be towards paying off debt, whatever. It's free money. That's That's what people need to be looking for, because right now, interest rates and bank accounts is pennies. We don't look at bank accounts for the interest rates. We look at for how much they're going to incentivize us for opening the account in the first place. Now, when you open the account, generally speaking, to get the bonus, they want you to sign up direct deposit. So make sure you sign up your direct deposit. Now, what some people don't realize is some employers will allow up to 4 direct deposits on their paychecks, which means when you get paid, you can have part of your money to one account, another part to another account, and so forth. So, and having it automated, in essence, that's how you're building a relationship with your bank. You're making these deposits. Now, granted, they want to see more deposits than withdrawals. That's what makes them happy. That's how they make money off of our money. But most importantly, when you have that type of activity, they monitor that activity. So let's shift to the Chase bank account. I had them open for a year and a half. They gave me, finally, after a year, they gave me a $5,000 business credit card, which was great. Guess what? Business has been picking up. They see all of the activity, money coming in, money coming out. Most importantly, more money coming in than going out. Just last week, they approved me for another Chase credit card for $18,000. November was the first card. December, January, February, March, April, 6 months later, I get another card that is more than 3 times the limit of the account that I currently have. Do you think it's because of all of my activity and the relationship that I've built with them? Now, I did throw it into the universe. I'm like, Chase, you better get it together. Otherwise, I'm going to take all my money over there. I'm going to put it over here. But yes, when you have positive banking account numbers, deposits, more deposits than withdrawals, you're consistent, they're going to look at that first. If they don't already know you by name, they're going to look at that first and then basically, kind of judge you to determine what type of products and services they can offer you. Now, to take it to the next level, show your face, get to know the tellers. If you find a favorite teller, always make sure you end up in their line. Build that relationship with the branch managers, the managers, if they're on the floor. Say hi. I mean, I know right now it's, probably still a little weird because of the whole COVID guidelines, but at the end of the day, show your face, because should you ever need to borrow money, a friendly face and somebody that you've built a relationship with will always win the complete stranger that comes into the branch asking for money. Yeah.
And so also what I'm hearing too with this, and thank you for those tips, is that because for all those people who are, cash only, who still, don't trust the banks and they're like, nah, I'm going to put it in the mattress or in the shoebox. I get that. I understand that. Yep. But one thing that I want to share, and I hopefully you've heard this when Eva was talking, the purpose of having relationship with banks is not just for them to hold your money.
Right.
It's so that you can leverage the relationship to get more money.
Yes.
Right? That's it. That's the game.
That's the game. That's how you win. Yes.
Either through borrowing or incentives or something, but that's the point, right? The point is to leverage the relationship to get more money.
Yeah. And not only that, potential connections. My son be coming home with all kinds of great customer service stories. Customers be telling him their lives. And I'm like, okay, well, if I need a doctor, I know who to go to. It's not even just about the bank letting you borrow money. It's they know who's the mover and the shaker within their own bank, who's the top investor, real estate wise or stock wise, who's the whatever. There's connections. There's networks there. I mean, I know there's some privacy policies, but still, at the end of the day, you never know. You build these relationships. They may just be like, oh, well, I know somebody in that industry. They can help you do this. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to look at.
That's good. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. It's already you guys will see this on YouTube. It's black in my room. I need to. We blacked out.
I feel like I got to turn off my light.
Yeah, we blacked out in my room right here. It's late, and I can feel it. My kids and my wife are, either at the door or they're
about to come in and
about to bust it anytime. I can feel it. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, let's leave the people with one last golden nugget when it comes to, really, knowing your banks, right? Like know your banks, have a relationship with your banks. Why is it important? I think a lot of people just don't understand. This is another one of those kind of like wealth building principles. We don't talk about a lot. Like I never hear people really talk about this. Yep. But so tell them once again why it's important and why they should, invest in those relationships.
Yes, definitely, guys. When it comes to banking, you definitely want to invest in relationships. Get to know the people, know the branch managers, know the tellers, know everybody that's in there. Because the end game result is you're going to need to borrow money, whether it's to buy the mortgage, the car, the boat, the RV, the credit cards, have higher limits, lines of credit. At the end of the day, the end game is to borrow money to take your finances to the next level. The bank is more open and willing to do that for you if they know you. How do they get to know you? By you having a good relationship, keeping your accounts positive, more deposits than withdrawals, a lot of nice looking activity. But most importantly, build those relationships so that when it comes time that you need them, they will have no problem helping you because they know your name. They probably know your kids' names. They probably know whether or not you're having a bad day at work. Those are the types of relationships we want to build so that you can take your finances to the next level, because that's a whole network that you can utilize.
All right. Thank you. All right, guys. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. One of the things that Eva enjoys most about being in personal finance is seeing people win. So if you are looking to improve your credit score because you are ready to make a major purchase, get better rates, or start living life on your own terms, visit Eva at evaempowers.com and schedule a consultation with her so you too can live life empowered.